Hey friends, Rob Phoenix, Powwow Guy here. Hope you're all doing well today. Beautiful day here again in South Central Pennsylvania. It's actually like in the 50s today. So we have pure sun, 50s, like 53 degrees or something. I feel spring in my blood. I'm really, really excited for spring this year. I know this is a tease. I know that once those early bloomers start popping up, which they have not yet, but once they do, then we start getting teases of spring mixed with snow and cold. But I'll take the teas. I'm enjoying the weather today. So, anyway, for some reason, I was thinking this morning about some of the things that people have said to me over the years that they wanted me to do for them as a powwower. And one of these things was what's called a house blessing. Now, I am, this brings me to the conversation of traditionalist versus modern slash new age slash neopagan. So I am more of a traditionalist powwower. I stick to how it was practiced here in Pennsylvania German culture, how our ancestors knew the tradition to be practiced. And my work has always been to preserve that practice as it was here in our history in our state of Pennsylvania. And it's all worked well for me. So I remember some years back, I reached out to uh, a neo-pagan friend who was claiming to do powwow because somebody came to me and said they needed some help. They felt that there was some spiritual energy in their house that needed to be gone. They felt that there were some things going on with them physically and mentally, emotionally that they needed some help with. Could we do some powwowing? I did not think that, within my framework, within my practice, I thought I need maybe a little more help to tackle some of these things that I don't do. That's only fair. It's only fair to the client. I'm not going to pretend to be able to do something that I just don't do. And I'm not going to do something that I don't feel comfortable doing or that I don't want to do. Um, so while there, I said, well, that's, this idea of house blessings, like I can make you a Himmelsbrief, put in your house. That's a house blessing. Um, Certainly I can do some protections around your property. That's a blessing in a sense. But I'm not clergy. And this individual is not Christian. So therefore, anything that I do is already hitting that brick wall of his non-belief. Um, so the neo-pagan person then later threw that out to the public, like, oh, he doesn't even know how to do house blessings. He's terrible powwower. Well, no, I'm a traditionalist powwow. And outside of, like I said, making Himmel's briefs, making some letters of protection, maybe doing some protective stuff around the property, and doing some healing work for the client. That's the scope of my work. But I think so the non-traditionalist, the new age neo-pagan crowd that likes to mess with specific cultural traditions, they had things in there that number one, are not historically, culturally correct, but things that I just don't feel like I have a right to, like burning sage in a house while drumming and chanting about Mother Moon and calling it powwow or brockery. I'm not a fan of that. Setting up altars to Freya and Zeus and Thor and all that bizwaz. That's not traditionalist. So if you come to me, like I've had people come to me and say, well, can you do a powwow cleansing for me? Well, that's not a thing. However, there are a few powwow rituals or prescriptions, you can call them, for if you don't know what is exactly wrong with the person. If they don't know, it's unspecified, you're just not sure what's going on. There are a couple general things you could do, which I've shared, like in that new booklet I wrote, they're in there. Um, that's about as close as you're going to get to a cleansing. A couple of years ago, a lady asked me for a cleansing, and it was kind of off the cuff. We were camping, and she wanted some sort of powwow cleansing, so I did one of the curse removal rituals that I generally do, and it's just designed to remove that negative influence from the person. So I just did that for her, and she said it worked for her. Like several days later, she said, her body regulated itself. She felt happier. She felt lighter. So it was successful for her because maybe there was just something bad on her and that ritual removed it. But I've also seen where people were literally selling a powwow cleansing, and you would go and it would involve oils and herbs and some kind of, fumigation, and a rattle might be involved, and there were feathers. And I just think these people don't actually understand what powwow is. I think even some of the people who like are on the new age, neopagan kind of spectrum, who want to embrace powwow, even they might not have a proper understanding of it and are still like kind of stuck on that word powwow as being associated with the Native Americans. And I get that, but if you're going to do something, do it right. And what's worth doing is worth doing well. So I'm definitely more of a traditionalist. Like if you want the basic no frills powwowing, that's what I'll do for you. I can try for you for several different types of illnesses. I can try for you to remove those negative influences from your life that are causing you harm. If somebody's done something to you, I can try for that. I can make protective charms, talismans, Braca bags, letters of protection. I don't really do hex signs just because I'm not that artistic and my hands are not great. Update, I have an appointment tomorrow to discuss my surgical options for this hand. So I'm going to get this hand taken care of first because it's the worst one, and then we're going to address this mess. So anyway, I can't really be drawing hex signs and such. I drew a talisman recently, and it took me a long time to do it. My hands were shaky, and there was a lot of erasing, so it was all bad. But yeah, there is a difference between traditionalist powwow, which is where I fall, even though, and you would rightfully say, well, it seems like you add your own stuff to it. Yes and no. Like I use a lot of my knowledge that I've learned from, studying like witchery and such, particularly for my astrological information, because that's when I learned all that. My making herbal remedies and medicines and such. I learned all that back in the witch days. So there's that, but you're not going to find me doing like spells. Certainly not celebrating the wheel of the year, like the the Celtic neopagan story, or whatever. I'm not into that at all. So that's the difference. I'm a traditionalist powwow. I do my work in the name of the Holy Trinity as found within Christian tradition. So it's a very much Christian-based practice, as it was historically, culturally, religiously. Powwow is a very well-documented tradition from beginning to current day. So that's the information's out there. But if you're a non-traditionalist and you want something that is non-traditional powwow, just call your local Wicca coven or something, because you're not going to get that from me. I'm not going to change my beliefs or my practices to cater to that. And also, there are some things that I just truly don't do. I'm not going to come into your house with holy water, splashing it around. You want that, call a Catholic priest. I just don't do that. I'm a traditionalist powwow, and I stick to that. I don't stretch too far outside of the confines of that. So there you go. And there are a lot more people out there nowadays that want something more non-traditional, something more modern, something more neo whatever. And that's fine. You'll probably find that out there. But you're not going to find that with me. I'm more like, it's probably why I get along so well with the oldsters in the communities, and because they're familiar with the powwow that I know, and it's familiar to them. So when I'm trying for them, they remember like their grandpappy doing it, or the lady that lived down the road doing that, something similar. So it's very familiar to the oldsters. So that's what I do. I'm getting to be an oldster myself in my 50s. That's okay. I don't mind. So anyway, that's a little bit about traditional versus non-traditional. Take it for what it's worth. Just is what it is. Certainly, there's some gray area there. both sides, I guess you could say. But I prefer a more traditionalist view of powwowing, a more traditionalist take on it. Yes, I want to know every single aspect there is to know about powwowing, and I want to experiment with it. And I'll tell you what, some things I'm not good at. Some things I have the gift for it, and sometimes I don't, and that's okay. You know, we are not all things to all people. Like some people believe that they can do whatever it is their client wants. Yes, they have the spiritual authority to banish demons and get rid of ghosts and cleanse your house and get, perform weddings and all that stuff. That's not your local powwow. We're not going to do all that because that's just not what we are. That's not our purpose. So again, traditional versus modern, non-traditional, and there is a difference. So you can't be mad. I can't be mad at a non-traditional who doesn't want to do the traditional stuff. It's just what bothers me is that they've appropriated that tradition and then changed it into something modern that it never was, and then they're claiming that it always was that. That's my animosity towards those folks. Otherwise, I don't care what you do. Just don't be claiming to do what I'm doing, unless you are doing what I'm doing. And if you learned it from me and then you're doing something different, don't say you learned that from me. Uh, just because I'm a traditionalist and that's what I'm known as. So anyway, take it all for what it is. I'm actually on my lunch break. I just heated up some leftovers from dinner last night. Bill made this good chicken veggie noodly kind of situation. If you had this nice weather, enjoy it. I just had the dogs out before I made this video. Lovely outside. Uh, there you go. That's my blob and my blurb, whatever I'm trying to say. My rant for the day. Have a great day. God bless you guys. Love you. And we'll talk again soon.